Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the annual Fibre Conference, hosted and brought to you by the Digital Council Africa. We're really excited this morning for our next speaker. Most of you will know Mr. Lloyd Pillay from a really big company called Comscope, and I know that most of you have done extensive work with Comscope already. We're really excited and privileged to have Comscope as part of this event. Thank you once again, Lloyd, yourself and the team from Comscope for supporting this event. It's always difficult, and it has been a very difficult year for all of us. And during the COVID pandemic, obviously, we had to change the way that we do these events. But we felt it was incredibly important to continue the conversation of expanding fiber networks in Africa. And, there's always people that you can rely on, and Comscope being one of those companies who helped us fund this platform to bring together some of the best speakers in Africa. And allow me a second to just introduce our next speaker. Lloyd has 20 years experience in IT infrastructure, OSP and ISP, both enterprise and service provider. Lloyd's currently the regional sales manager for Comscope, responsible for the Southern Africa territory, developing and implementing the Comscope sales strategy, and generating revenue growth and ensuring profitability. His previous experience includes consulting electrical engineer, was technical manager for ADC Kroner, and sales manager for TE Connectivity. Lloyd's got a certificate in HR management, Big C. He's a certified data center designer and a certified fiber optics specialist and designer. So good morning, Lloyd. Welcome to the session. The session is titled something that's really appropriate for us during this time, titled How Fiber Evolution is Supporting Business and Communities Across Africa. And I think this topic has never been more applicable to us as Africans ever before, Lloyd, than now.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks for those kind words and the platform really to talk about this topic. Appreciate the work we've put in over the years, and we appreciate, as Comscope, appreciate your contribution to the fiber community on the continent. As an introduction, I think Africa over the past few years is closely watched as the next big growth economy. There are many reasons for optimism on the continent, as it is home to some of the youngest populations in the world. It promises to be a major consumption market over the next 3 decades, and it is increasingly becoming connected. The quickly evolving digital economy has made a need for connectivity a necessity on the continent. The rapid evolution requires fast and reliable internet connections, which are driven by fiber networks. The positive consequences of fiber extend far beyond the economy and have an impact on day-to-day lives of all people it reaches. It unlocks new avenues for creating value, new opportunities, leading to greater industrial and economic liberation for economies in Africa. In countries like South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana, where connectivity has increased rapidly over the past decade, there's a marked increase in entrepreneurial activity, as well as the creation of early-stage innovation hubs. From undersea cable to mobile networks, preparations for 5G, data centers, smart cities, connected homes, connected businesses, fiber forms the backbone of all networks. The impact of fiber is significant on the continent. In Kenya, home to what's known as a silicon savannah, Nairobi has a growing tech-savvy ecosystem. Thanks to the popularity of M-Pesa, the mobile payments capability is accessed by up to 70% of Kenyans. It's suggested that M-Pesa's mobile money services have lifted 2% of Kenyans' households out of poverty. M-Pesa's payments are now represent approximately 25% of Kenya's annual GDP, and the app has spread to India, the Middle East, and Europe. Rwanda has been moving to transform itself into a digital hub with several notable initiatives, including government-to-citizen services e-portal, high mobile account usage, expanded 4G coverage across the country, and improved digital skill. An example of the benefit to communities is a company called Zipline. Zipline has operated the world's only national-scale drone delivery system since October 2016. As the costs of this technology continue to become even more affordable, so will government's capacity to deliver rural healthcare and rapidly stock other consumables. In Lesotho, the e-government infrastructure project will drive digital finance and financial inclusion by improving access to reliable digital services, particularly among citizens in rural and unserved areas. It will also develop digital payments infrastructure, strengthen the digital services ecosystem, and improve government skills to oversee and implement information and communications technology initiatives. The multinational Trans-Saharan optical fiber backbone is one of the largest bank finance information and communications technology projects, which aims to interconnect the West, Central, and North African regions. Among the connections are Algeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria. South Africa is a regional leader in the ease of creating digital jobs, supported by strong consumer demand for digital businesses and an institutional environment that offers favorable regulations, comparing positively against key emerging market nations in Latin America and Asian regions. South Africa is also a regional leader in the deployment of several emerging technologies, such as biometric data, payment cards to deliver social security, and drones in mining. In Egypt, the digital technology sector is the second fastest growing sector. The country is also producing a large number of skilled graduates. It has the highest number of tertiary graduates of most countries on the continent. Egypt is a regional leader in skilled digital job creation with online skills and creative and multimedia software development and technology. With 50% of its population below the age of 30 and a massive e-commerce market, Egypt is also developing into one of the region's fastest growing entrepreneurial hubs. Nigeria has a powerful entrepreneurial climate with innovative ventures such as InterSwitch, Kobo 360, and Andela as the outcomes. These ventures cut across the education, fintech, agriculture, healthcare, logistics, and travel sectors. Nigeria was Africa's leading startup investment destination in 2018 and 19, recording nearly $95 million in deals. Lagos, Yabo neighborhood, has even earned the nickname Yabocon Valley. The impact of fiber in communities in Africa is life-changing. Two big problems in African nations are healthcare and education. Technology driven by increasing fiber connectivity has played a key role in addressing both. There are government-sponsored solutions in Kenya and Nigeria to help address literacy and access to education. By driving connectivity to schools, students are gaining access not only to information through the internet, but also online lectures, textbooks, and learning programs on nearly any subject imaginable. In healthcare, smartphone apps are starting to help patients monitor and manage health issues without easy access to a doctor. Apps like Hello Doctor provide confidential 24-hour access to a doctor via text or the ability to receive a doctor callback within an hour. While others like Smart Health, Kids Aid, and more, the impact of fiber on the African continent is far-reaching with continued improvement to socio-economic landscape. Increasing progress in fiber deployments will unleash the true potential of the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. That was really insightful and very interesting. It's such a pleasure, and I think, you touched on so many really important points. I think, it's a conversation that we've been having for the last couple of weeks, just in terms of this whole digital divide and how critical fiber infrastructure is going to be, for the next generation. And I think, it's also something that I mentioned in my opening speech. The digital divide is something that everybody should be concerned about, and governments across Africa should really come together now and say, how are we going to take this critical infrastructure to every person. And we're aware that there are some initiatives that's taking place and people are reaching out, but it seems like it's not enough and it's not fast enough. So certainly a space that we'll keep an eye on, and certainly from our side, something that we will keep driving. This awareness of fiber infrastructure and educating governments on how we can take it to the citizens faster. Allow me to just maybe ask one or two questions that I'm quite keen on understanding. So one of the things, that is this ongoing debate within the organization. Obviously, the lobby group, it's quite important for us to have a handle on a lot of these questions, that our members are plagued with. And, so for us, it's quite important to try and play a facilitation role that focuses on making it easier for companies to deploy infrastructure and and for investors to invest, because they completely linked and inseparable. So from your point of view, what do you think is required for Africa, to unlock its potential, in terms of socioeconomic potential, particularly in terms of broadband deployment?
Thanks. Good question. I think a lot has been done to date, albeit at a slower pace than expected. Increased levels of investment, definitely. I think significant investment is needed and required throughout the broadband value chain. I think, in particular, local access network infrastructure and rural areas, in remote areas. Any financing gap to meet goals will be bridged through the mobilization of public as well as private capital. Secondly, I think affordable broadband networks. I think the price of broadband service needs to be sufficiently low so that it may be provided as a basic service. Thirdly, enabling policy and legislative frameworks. I think government policies and practices should promote investment um, and effective competition. To involve the views and account for the interest of all stakeholders. It's crucial that the framework must be compliant with advances in technology as well. Digital skills, I think, is a key factor. All citizens need to have the basic digital training that prepares them, as active digital citizens, and gives them the basic understanding of the value of connectivity. And then lastly, platforms like these, which enables and promotes the sharing of ideas and the connecting of different countries on the continent.
I agree with you, and it's interesting because there seems to be like a common thread that runs through all the questions and all the answers that I pose these questions to a lot of the leadership in southern and sub-Saharan Africa, and it's very consistent. One of the sort of common threats that are running through is exactly that of digital skills as well. So it's a really important conversation that we have to have as a continent, and something that we have to overcome. But also equally important, but completely different, is the whole conversation around, the debate around public-private partnerships. And possibly for as long as I've known myself and remembered myself, there's been very strong opinions on the role of private sector versus the role of government and where the responsibilities lie. In your opinion, how do you see the whole role of PPPs further the cause that we stand for?
Well, I mean, it's key, definitely key, because it brings together essentially expertise and capital. I mean, those are the two fundamental things required for us to accelerate these fiber deployments. I think on a global scale, these triple Ps have worked, over decades. I think it's mutually beneficial, and I think the expertise on, lessons learned on either side can be shared in this relationship. I think, there's a lot of political climate that may inhibit this, but it needs support from both the private sector as well as the government sector. Again, forums like this, I think, promote the coming together of the private and public entities, so to speak, and it promotes these discussions and hopefully action to help us develop the continent.
I agree with you, especially I think, we're entering such a critical time where digital transformation is sort of the biggest conversation. And we're seeing that in some of the research that are being produced is, just, for CIOs and CTOs, of course, digital transformation was important, but now we're seeing this immense push to digitally transform. And whatever research you look at, if you look at the top 10 conversations that they're having right now, digital transformation is, top of mind for most people. So on that, what do you think the impact of the pandemic is going to be on the way that we need to transform and sort of almost reinvent ourselves?
I think the pandemic is possibly had a positive impact in the sense that it's highlighted the need for us to accelerate our deployments. I think in different scenarios, people were forced to work from home. Businesses will be redesigned, sorry, to cater for COVID. COVID will be here for a while to come, and I think what we've learned over the last few months is quite important. As an example, if an organization currently these days are working with, an 85, 95% efficiency rate working from home, it'll redefine the way they do business in the coming years. This all translates into a need for more bandwidth, teams, meetings online and things like that. So, in a nutshell, I think it'll accelerate our appetite to connect faster.
I cannot agree with you more. And it's just a reminder of how much work there's left to do for all of us. But yes, I also think that coming to the end of the year is a well-deserved break waiting for all of us. And I know that I'm certainly going to take a couple of days out just to recover. Lloyd, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. It's been very insightful. It's been fantastic having you as a speaker, and I really enjoyed our conversation. And thank you again to Comscope. I think that has also been incredibly helpful, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working with Comscope over the years. It's a great team based here in South Africa, and yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Anita, and thanks for your contribution to the industry.